What's up? I'm Empathetic Chicken, and I'm here to do another collective reading. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not doing bad, but I'm not doing my best either. I'm a little bit like discouraged. Like I had a week where I was feeling like really good, and then like something just happened to like throw me off. Like you probably know what I mean. Like you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden something just kind of like it's like a freaking little wrench in the plan. You know what I mean? But it's alright. I'm gonna get through it. Like I'm gonna just show up and see what's in store, like through the cards, because I'm just like needing some little encouragement, and maybe you are too. So like let's look into this together and see if we can, you know, get our little faith restored, because I'm struggling. Anywho, like all is not lost. Like I know I'll be alright, but you know, like, I'm just I could use a little pick me up. So let's see what's going on here. I done shuffled. I don't know why I gotta do it. It just feels like legit. Sorry, there's like monster mosquitoes around, so I'm just like paying attention, because the last time I got bit on the freaking forehead, like I had a dang golf ball size daggone knot on my head. Freaking goose egg. Alright, so what's the theme? And we're gonna look at the obstacle we're dealing with, the goal, and what our guidance is. Alright, so for our overall theme, we got loyalty. For our obstacle, we got childlike wonder. Wonder. I don't know why I said it like that. For our goal, companion. Can you even see that? There we go. And for guidance, we have peace. Ooh, that's a relief. If we could only just access it. Because sometimes your mind don't let you be at peace. Just saying. Anyway, we got accountability on the bottom, so I mean, probably about to get told. Alright, let's we're gonna clarify with these little inner guide ones. Alright. So clarifying loyalty, we got higher self, connection to self, higher guidance, intuition. For our obstacle with childlike wonder, we got acceptance, temporary pauses and changes, patience. Then our goal with companion, we got let go. Toxic thinking in relationships goes to the past. For our guidance with peace, we got archangel. How you say that? Archangel, Metatron. Ooh, about lost it. Ooh. Evolution of self, spiritual awakening, and spiritual knowledge. Yeah. Alright, let's get into it. So loyalty. I'm gonna just be real. We probably attached to some old stories about ourselves. Cause I mean, when I first did this card, it was like kind of like a little happy, like, you know, the little chicken. He's loyal. He's standing by his side. But then like the more like I looked at it, and like the drawing of it, I just felt like there were like some little shadowy aspects to like this whole loyalty thing. Cause like we can be loyal to certain things, but I feel like with loyalty, like sometimes it can kind of like bring in like the expectation of like things staying the same, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, like when I think about like loyalty and like sticking with something, it's kind of just like, I don't know, it just like gives off the impression of like having to, the words are failing me, like, you know, like it just seems like stagnant. Like loyal is like always like there, freaking, you know, you got to hold on. Not making sense. So like I feel like there's like a better definition of like loyalty, where like instead of it being like that little stagnant definition, like just expecting things to always be the same, always like putting up with the same old stuff, like always seeing you a certain way or like somebody else a certain way. Like you can be loyal to like how things change. So you might be like being loyal to like seeing yourself a certain way or like understanding things a certain way when like there's actually room to shift, like there's a higher understanding available, like, but you're kind of trying to look at it through like an outdated method, like, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me just read the little card meaning, like, because I feel like I have stuff to say, but I can't always like say it in the moment. Like my freaking brain doesn't work when I need it to sometimes. Like I wrote it out in this like when I could think, so like let me just hope that this will express what I'm trying to say. Alright, so it says, my bad, you might want to see it. Our commitments can give us purpose in the world. They can help us to define ourselves and give our lives meaning. However, when things change, as they usually do, we are invited to renegotiate how we have constructed our identities based on these things. So how do we remain loyal even when recognizing the inescapable evolution of our existence? One way is to experience loyalty less as a constraining concept and more in harmony with life's fluidity. Ooh. This can look like being in constant conversation with ourselves about our motives and what things may have reached their expiration date of relevancy. Your current identity isn't who you've always been, and it certainly isn't who you'll always be. A more accurate way to discover your essence at any given time is to ask, how am I being in this moment, and what is informing this? Are my actions still preferred or necessary? Being loyal to ourselves and to change can also look like letting unhelpful, irrelevant stories go. We can acknowledge their usefulness in another moment of our lives and give ourselves permission to change. This can also apply to how we may be viewing significant people in our lives. Are we expecting them to be something they no longer are or want to be? With this in mind, it becomes important for us to always allow ourselves and others to flow through life. When offering I'm getting a little ahead of myself. When offering ourselves and others unconditional love, despite our ever-changing circumstances, we become most loyal. So yeah, like, I feel like loyalty isn't like holding ourselves to these like standards or like holding other people to standards. It's more like being accepting of like things as they are, like as they go. Like I've been on this whole like acceptance thing lately, like, but really like I feel like that's where the power lies, like, cause like if you just keep clinging to this like this expectation and this like one way things have to be, and things aren't that, like it's just kind of like setting yourself up to always be disappointed, cause like you can't like freaking get everything how you want it. You can't always get what you want. You know what I mean? Like that song. But you know, like instead you can let yourself shift and change and like just be loyal enough to yourself in that sense of like allowing change and like accepting what is for now, but knowing that it's like temporary, like, because everything is temporary. So like I feel like your higher self knows this, so like whatever you're like telling yourself, like, I don't know, for me, like it's hard, like I have like been shaped in a certain way, like I have believed certain things about myself, and like certain little triggers be like bringing all that crap back up, and I'll be trying to like frame everything according to that narrative, and it hurts. Like it's not a helpful narrative, but like I still like am loyal to it just because it's like habit. But like I want to embrace the little higher self view, which is like out of these bounds. Like I don't have to be in this. Who the heck's coming? Sorry. I have like paranoia when it comes to visitors. I don't like people. No, I love people. Sorry. No, I just don't like unexpected guests. You know what I mean? Like it's scary when somebody comes up on your freaking turf. But anyway. Yeah. So yeah, we got some little attachments to some maybe some unhelpful little stories right now that could shift. Like We need to be loyal to our like higher self right now, because like the little outdated stories and all that. Excuse me, bugs. They're not working for us. Like, they're causing harm. And if it's hurting, then it's not helping. Like, I know that sounds like pretty stupid and like straightforward, but like if it's hurting, it ain't helping. So like, you probably need to let it go, you know? As hard as it is. Oh my God, I just realized we had acceptance here too. Like, look at that. Look at that. Anywho. So that was our theme. At least we know like kind of what's going on. Like, stuck in some little like things that could be more flexible. So yeah, speaking of flexible, for our obstacle, we having a hard time like being in this little childlike wonder energy and accepting the flow of things. Like, maybe we're not very patient. We're just like, we need stuff to be like how we think it should be, and it ain't that way. So we're just like, what the heck, man? It's not working. But I mean, there is another way. Like I was saying, like, there's the power in accepting what is. Like, that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, you can change things, but like, if you can't like accept how they are now, like, you can't really, you know, I just feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's just this thing where like, until you accept things for how they are, they're not gonna change. Cause like, you're just seeing them, you're too rigid in your viewpoints, you know? But yeah, so I mean, with this card, it's all about how like, kids can like, experience reality in like, this just like limitless way. Like, they don't need things to go a certain way to like, have fun, or like, you know? I'm gonna just share like a little story, like when I was writing the little meaning of this card. So like, I was visiting my dad, and like my niece and my sister lived with him at the time, and like my niece had this like laundry basket, and I think like some socks or something, like some little laundry random stuff, and like she had been watching that movie Balto with the wolf, or with the little, are they wolves? What are they? Are they wolves? Whatever them kind of dogs are, the little like sleigh dogs or whatever. Anywho, those things that pulled a little sleigh. And so like, she had a little basket, and she tied together the little socks and stuff, and like, she was like pulling it around like a sled. And I was like, that is so cute. Like, she just like made her own little sled out of nothing. And so like, she was just like going to town, having a little like sled dog game, you know. And to her, it was like, I don't know, like, it just like, it just reminded me of like how like our imaginations like are powerful. Like, we can experience like whatever if we like utilize what's around us. Like, you know what I mean? And I know like, it's not as like, sorry, I'm distracted. Oh God, let them little freaking attachments to stuff get in my way. Anyway, like, there's somebody over there, and I'm getting scared they're watching me, but they're not. Oh my God. Anywho, so like reality is more like flexible than we allow it to be. Like, when we grow up, because I mean, we don't really need a whole lot. Sorry, mosquito, but you had to go. But we don't really need things to be a certain way. Like, we think, like, we can just enjoy the moment and like use what we got to like have fun. Like, it don't gotta be so serious all the time. Like, I don't know, like, kids are just more like free, and they just make do. Well, I mean, I don't know about kids these days, because they got like technology. They don't really want to like, I feel like I've noticed they don't really want to play as much as they used to, or at least I used to when I was a kid. But that's another story, whatever. Like, but like, you don't really need much when you have your imagination. So I feel like we could be more like flexible and accepting. And dang, I wish that person would leave, because it's really making me nervous. It's fine. I accept the situation for what it is. Yeah. So we're having a hard time like seeing the magic in the moment. Like, there are possibilities available. Like, it's limitless, you know. We just are too caught up on being loyal to the past, like little certain perspectives that aren't serving us at this time. So I mean, it is hard to like accept that there are like other like possibilities when you are used to seeing things a certain way. Like if you're just used to like disappointment, and you're like you've conditioned yourself to like view life through the lens of disappointment. Like it's hard to like break free of that and see things any other way. But like the truth of it is like there are like endless ways to view your circumstances. Like you're just like zeroing in on a certain like punctuation of events. Like I don't know, like in my little therapy program, like we talked about like reality and like how everybody has like their little frame of reference, and like how we punctuate our reality is like the things that we notice, and like our little context is going to determine what things that we like notice versus don't notice. And it's just like this convoluted thing, but like we're all limited in our little perspective. So like I mean, even that said, like that means like there's still room to like view things from a different perspective. Does that make sense? Like if you can like acknowledge like the limitations of your perspective, then you can kind of like be open to new perspectives, if that makes sense. Like I'm thinking about like in my little therapy program, we were reading this book about like, it was called narrative therapy, and it's about how we like structure like the narrative of our lives. Like we tell these stories about ourselves, and like we highlight certain things and look for like evidence to support those things, and then it becomes like just our little like like our identity. And it's really more flexible than we think. We're just like used to like plotting out certain points and telling a story, like telling the story a certain way. But like if someone else were to like look at your story, like they might frame it in a different way or like highlight different things, which could like ultimately change the story. You get what I'm saying? So all that just to say, like it's more flexible, but maybe we're just having a hard time like acknowledging that and being okay with that, because like we're used to our little comfortable story. Like it's as much as it hurts sometimes, like the little disappointing story, it's a comfort because it's like a known story. Like it's scary to like, I mean, look at this little forest. I mean, it's pretty. It's got like the little colors and all, but it's dark in there and it's unfamiliar. Like it's unknown. So like naturally, it's gonna be a little scary to embrace like all the possibilities if we don't know like exactly where we're headed. So that makes sense. Like ramble on like over. I'm gonna make sure I'm still recording. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna catch you if you try to cut me off again. So yeah, what we're trying to accomplish, we got companion, and we got let go, ghost of the past, toxic thinking, and relationships. So yeah, I know this says companion, but when I made this card, like I mean, it's got the little feathers on there because, like, personally, I collect feathers because they make me feel better. Like, it's just my little bird friends, Like, it's like a little source of comfort for myself. So it's about, like, them providing me with, like, comfort, but it's also, like, an act of, like, self-comfort. Does that make sense? Self-soothing? Is that the words? Yeah. So, like, this card's about, like, being that source of, like, your own comfort. And like doing things to make yourself feel better and loved and like supported, So that's what we want to get to. Like we want to be okay on our own and like know that we're like loved and supported, like regardless of what's going on. Like I feel like with these little toxic thinking, we probably like have these thoughts that like we're unworthy, like no one loves us, like it's just things are never gonna work out. Like just all the little spiral of like all the crap that tries to tear us down. Or at least like maybe that's just my head, but like I'm sure there's somebody out there like me, like there's gotta be. And if you're listening, you're probably like on a little similar wavelength. I'm sorry. It sucked, but there's hope because this is flexible. But yeah, so that's the goal we want to get to, is where we can like kind of like soothe ourselves like through these like doubts and these worries that we're having. It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm just be the first to say it. I think that's part of it, like just acknowledging, like with the acceptance thing, like acknowledge that like sometimes it just hurts. I feel really like whiny. I'm just saying, like sometimes you just need like a little pat on the back and be like, it's gonna be okay. Like, and if you're the only one that can do that for you, like just do it. Like, don't hold back. Like, you deserve it too. You know? Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, like there is like it's as painful as it is, like these little toxic things, or what I don't even like the word toxic, like so I feel like we just do what we know in the moment, and like we develop these little habits, like for some reason, like they're not like just because they aren't like helpful now doesn't mean that they weren't like for a purpose in the past. Like, you know, like I don't think our behaviors or like our patterns are ever just like intentionally harmful, you know? I think they're just like coping mechanisms that we develop, and like as we change and grow, like the need for like new coping mechanisms or whatever you want to call them, like the need is, yeah, what am I saying? Hopefully that was translated. We gotta adapt, like that's what I'm saying. Like something that worked in the past might not work now, and like maybe you can see it now, like how it didn't serve you before either, but like it got you to this point, so like obviously it was there for a reason, but like you might not need it anymore, so you might need to let some things go, you know, be there, be that person for yourself, to like be the companion that you need to get you through this, because you always were anyway, like you already are, so like just keep doing that, but make it a little less painful on yourself and let the little hurtful stuff go, you know. So peace and oh my god, I'm having trouble. Archangel Metatron, evolution of self, spiritual awakening, and spiritual knowledge. Oh my god, book. So that's our like encouragement, like our little guidance right now, is to like find that little peace and like evolve, because like we gotta rise above the past, like we gotta let that go. And know that we're in charge here. We're the one that has to do the work. Like our little higher self wants us to embrace like the higher levels of consciousness. Because like there's peace available in that. Like all this like turmoil that we're feeling, it means we're not like in alignment, and we're not like going with the flow. Like we're not having patience with ourselves and our circumstances. Like we're not seeing the potential like that we hold. So please leave me alone. I'm sorry. I hear them. I just like that noise. Like you ever just hear like a noise and you're just like the mosquito. Like I can't deal with that noise. Alright, I was sitting there talking for like 20 minutes and it was cut off and I didn't even know it. So back to the message. Dang it, I hate when that happens. Oh. So yeah, peace and the little evolution of self. So I was trying to say, God, it's a big mosquito. Look at that thing. Please don't bite me. He's biting me. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Anywho, I don't know if you saw that, but dang, them things leave some marks. Yeah, how do you be at peace? I feel like it comes to that like little acceptance and like being patient with yourself. No matter what you're feeling, I mean, it might not be pleasant, but like at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like you're feeling something for a reason. I feel like I was saying it so much better a minute ago, but it's gone now. It's too late. So yeah, just like be patient with yourself and accepting of what you're feeling, and like take time to like process it. Cause like with me, like whenever I feel like some emotions coming up that are like hurtful, I just kind of try to like observe them and like zero in on like why I'm feeling the certain thing. Like, cause I feel like the patterns, like they're, I don't remember if I said this before or not, but yeah, like the patterns, they're there, like, they were useful at a certain time in our lives, but maybe now, like, they're not anymore. So it's helpful to, like, recognize maybe, like, where the pattern came from, or, like, why you kind of, like, react a certain way, or where certain feelings. Oh, see, what you doing, sir? You're so precious. Sorry, he looked at me. It was cute. But yeah, like, just, it's helpful to, like, acknowledge where they come from. Like, maybe something, like, hurtful in the past happened to you, and now you, like, just believe a certain thing about yourself, like, oh, this will happen again, or, like, you know, you just respond in a certain way, like, maybe you, like, shut people out, or you're not, like, open to, like, seeing things in different ways because you're just, like, used to being hurt or whatever, like, you know what I mean, like, you have your things, like, I have mine. So, like, just be, like, curious, I guess, is a good word, too, like, about, like, just be curious about understanding whatever you're going through, because, like, in understanding where, like, the stuff comes from, you can kind of, like, come to terms with it, I guess, like, and then choose, like, with awareness comes, like, the opportunity to respond differently, you know. Like, you don't always have to go with, like, the first little inkling or whatever, like, if it's harmful, like, if it hurts, like, did I say this? I feel like I said this earlier, like, if it's hurtful, then it's not helpful, so, like, just let it go. But yeah, that's where, like, the peace comes from, I think. It's just being willing to, like, sit with yourself and, like, know yourself. Like, I mean, it's scary sometimes to, like, feel the feels, but they're there and they gotta be felt. Like, I'm just, like, a believer in, like, you gotta feel it to heal it kind of thing. Like, so, you know, that's where the peace is. Like, that's how you evolve. Like, that little knowledge of the self. Yeah. Because I think, like, awareness is, like, really tied to, like, the whole spiritual awakening thing. Like, once you can't, like, hide from yourself anymore, like, it's like you gotta be accountable. See, I knew this would come into play later. Like, the whole accountability, like, you can no longer, like, pretend that, like, you can't be, like, what is that word? That little saying, ignorance is bliss. Like, you can't do that no more. You can't pull that card no more. Because you know. Like, you know better. Like, which, I mean, it might sound like, kind of like, I don't want to, like, know myself like that, because then I gotta, like, you know, be accountable. Like, who wants to do that? But, I mean, it comes with its, like, benefits, like, you know, because, I mean, I don't know, I just would prefer not to, like, blame anybody else for my issues, because, like, if I know where I stand, like, I can change it, you know? Like, I don't have to, I feel like with accountability, like, it puts you in a position of, like, not, like, control, but, like, it does give you, like, more power over your circumstances, because, like, you know that you're the one who has the power to, like, shift things and, like, you know, like, like, act in a way that's, like, less harmful to yourself and other people. Like, it's just, it's an empowering, like, freeing type of energy. And I'm still looking at these people over here because it's distracting me, but they're not paying attention to me. It's fine. So I lost my cards now. Peace. I'm gonna read the peace one too, like, just in case I ain't, like, explaining things good or whatever. Peace. Alright. Peace is chaos's necessary counterpart. A lot of us spend so much time caught up in the chaos we tend to forget that. Many of us know we have found peace in moments where everything feels like it will be okay and all urgency is gone. When we aren't at war with ourselves or another or fighting for a certain outcome, but simply existing with the universe. We are being what we are and letting others be as they are. Peace can often be found in the present. When was the last time you felt at peace? What would it take for you to feel even a moment of peace? Maybe try this now. So that goes back to the little acceptance thing. And look at this little Buddha. Maybe that's Buddha. I don't think that's Buddha. The little guy, maybe it's Buddha. Sorry. He's just sitting there chilling, like, you know, he's at peace. So yeah, that's where it's at. Like, just be with what is. As hard as it is sometimes, it passes. All things are temporary. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully you got something out of there. I don't know. I'll just roll with it though. But I got, somewhere I got my little cat deck with Sid's laying on it because he's a cat. Yes, he's a cat. Yes. Alright, I'm gonna pull a little message from this little spirit cat's deck real quick, like, to get us done with this. Just close out the energy or whatever. A final message. Alright, what's the little final message that can assist us, bring us into a state of peace? Flow! Oh my god! How perfect. Alright, it says, now I'm gonna butcher this name. Meet Zephyr? I don't know. Meet Zephyr. She is flexible, flowing, and gentle like a light wind. She intuitively responds to the rhythms of the world around her. When a door opens, she just walks through easy as a breeze. When the door closes, she circles, eddies, and finds a window to slip silently through. She blooms with the spring and knows how to let go with the fall. She is change, and she welcomes change. Her strength comes not through resistance, but through perfect flow like a river, sculpting the rocks, finding and making the space to keep moving. Yeah, so that goes perfectly what I was saying. Like, just embracing it and going with it. Like, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's it, you know. That's what we got here. Good luck to you. I'm right here going through it too. So I mean, we're gonna get through this. Like, I just feel it. Like, you and me, we got this. We got this in the bag, man. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'll be back eventually, probably like in a week's time. I've been doing good about this little Friday post thing. So I'm gonna see how far I can take it, like, keep on schedule. But yeah, Sid says let me down, but Sid says bye. I love you, Sid. I know, it's food time. Anywho, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, yeah, I gotta do better about self-promotion. Like, if you like my little deck or whatever, you can find it on my website. I'll put the little link down there, and then if you want a little reading, I'm doing personal readings now, so like, that'll be down there too. And I'll put the links to like these decks and stuff too, in case you want to like look into them, cause like, you gotta support everybody else too. But yeah, I'll be back.